The Steelers face one of the most interesting moves of the entire NFL offseason, and it involves around a pass rusher who's quietly making $20 million. Alex Highsmith has been productive, but expensive, and now he finds himself in a very crowded linebacker room with TJ Watt and Nick Herbig. So the big question is, do the Steelers trade Highsmith, betting on Herbig and their future, or do they keep Highsmith, putting all the chips in the table for one more run with Aaron Rodgers? Alex Highsmith is set to make $20 million this year and $20 million next year before he becomes an unrestricted free agent ahead of the 2028 NFL season. The Steelers do not have a ton of cap space heading into next offseason, and they already have a few players awaiting extensions like Joey Porter Jr., who's a great young corner the Steelers are actively trying to negotiate to lock down a long-term deal with. Freeing up some money from the Highsmith contract could make this a lot easier and be a bargaining tool for the Steelers. Highsmith has missed 10 games in the last couple of years with several lower body injuries, including ankle sprains and pulled groins. His best season was in 2022, which is now 4 years ago. He had 14.5 sacks, which is his only double-digit sack of his career. The Steelers' outside linebacker room is ridiculously crowded right now with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig. TJ is making $42 million over the next 2 years, and then $46 in 2028, and it seems highly unlikely that the Steelers are trying to move him or that TJ will be interested in looking to play elsewhere. They also just gave Nick Herbig a 4-year, $100 million contract, just 24 years old, showing that he is very much in their long-term defensive plans. That puts Alex Highsmith kind of in an awkward position as the odd man out. Players with a similar value, age, and contract details to Highsmith often generate a second to third round pick in trade details, that would be a great pickup for the Steelers moving into an offseason where it'd be their first one without Aaron Rodgers, and they're likely handing the keys over to a young cornerback. It's also possible that the Steelers might be able to drive up the asking price in this situation. And then some of the reasons you don't want to trade Highsmith are the rotation that you can create with the three of them if you keep them. TJ Watt isn't quite the same dominant force he was a few years ago, but having productive guys like Herbig and Highsmith behind him or keep him fresh and are going to be able to get the most out of him, I think, for sure. It also gives an extra layer of depth if someone were to go down with an injury. So say TJ Watt were to get hurt early in the year, you still have Highsmith and Herbig, who are more than enough of a duo themselves. And then in the games Highsmith has played, he still has been a reliable, productive piece of the defense. He turned in 9.5 sacks and 15 TFLs last year in only 13 games. And it's just good, like a team for the Steelers to have guys like Highsmith who have been around for a long time, especially when they go into years with new leadership like the Steelers are, bringing in McCarthy as the new coach and a new defensive coordinator. So guys like Highsmith who know the building, know how things operate, bring a sense of leadership to the locker room. It's invaluable. So overall, my verdict, I think the Steelers should keep Highsmith for at least one more season. Rodgers is going to be 42. It's going to be his last season. And I think the Steelers have one more last chance to really go at it before they find their new franchise quarterback and maybe have a bit of a rebuilding phase. So it makes sense to keep the roster as competitive as you can right now. And the three-man outside linebacking trio you create if you keep Highsmith, it can be enough to win the Steelers some games alone this year. So, and then additionally, it's not like Highsmith becomes a free agent at the end of this year. So if you keep him for the entire year, you still have the ability to trade him going into the next season. So you can still get value out of that while having one more run with him, which I think is probably what the Steelers are going to do and makes the most sense overall. But let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you think any teams should make a move for Highsmith.